it's been a little while since my last video, so I thought I'd do a little catch up because it's been 2 years now that we've had Magnus in our home. So I thought I'd do a little video just to cover some of the things that have changed from when we first got Magnus to how he is today. The first and most obvious thing is Magnus's appearance. When we first met Magnus, he had a very thick fur coat. It kind of looked like a husky or even a sheep. It was really thick, you can see it sticking out from the collar there, and it was kind of more fleecy than your standard sort of hair for a greyhound. This lasted about 3 or 4 months, but eventually molted out, and we're left with a nice, smooth, silky, shiny Magnus you can see before us here. Another thing on Magnus' appearance was his legs. His rear legs had bald patches with no hair whatsoever on both his rear legs and his backside. Luckily, after sort of diet of lots of fish oils, the hair has grown all back, so it's nice and furry on his legs. Unfortunately, his tail hasn't grown back either. But Magnus, he was very furry and really nice to cuddle. And even though the hair is gone, Magnus is just as cuddly as he was before. Aren't you, buddy? Yep, you are. You're as cuddly as before. Magnus, when he first came home, was also very comfortable sleeping in his crate. He'd happily go in there and sleep. He would also sleep on our hard floors, on our rugs, but not on any of the beds. So rugs, floors, even walls, but not the nice beds we got for him. So we had 3 beds throughout the house, but he wouldn't even touch them. So after about 3 months, Magnus started to use all of his beds, continued to sleep in his crate, but now he's quite happy to sleep in any of the beds we have throughout the house. And we've got them in different rooms, so Magnus can slouch and slumber as much as he wants. So even though he's got all these beds, his nice crate, he still will occasionally sleep on the floors or on the carpet as well. Won't you, bud? Yep. Recently, in the last couple of months, Magnus has started to roach as well. He never did this previously. Here we have a little picture of Magnus sort of flipped over roach. But it was very interesting and fun to see Magnus do his first roach a couple of months ago. Now it's a very common sight. We also got Magnus, but at the same time, this little baby doobie just to give him some extra comfort. So it's quite funny in the mornings to find him completely under the duvet. I usually throw a little treat to wake him up so he doesn't get startled by me pulling the cover off him. But it does make for a fun sight to see him try to get out of his bed with a duvet on his head. Alright, you getting up, buddy? Yep. Alright, up you get. Whoop. Alright, here you come, bud. Here you come, bud. That's it. Alright, you gonna let me help you? Alright, stay there. Alright, I'll help you out, buddy. Let me help you out. Alright, here you go. When we first got Magnus as well, we had a lot of incidents of him getting cut paws from not being used to walking on the hard surfaces. Quite a transition from the track. So Magnus was getting little cuts and nicks on his feet. We treated them with various products like mushers and things, and we're happy to say that Magnus has had very little incidents of cut paws since then. So he has a very good paws, very worn in, and very hardy for the walking on the streets and not just the countryside. Magnus has also learned a lot of manners in regard to waiting for his food. When we first got Magnus, he would jump outside our kitchen door waiting for food to get served. Now he'll happily wait on the floor until he's told food is ready, and then he will get his food. He's also learned a couple other tricks in regard to food as well. So even though Magnus has been quite accustomed to city life for 2 years now, there's still certain things out there in the city that really freak Magnus out or really grab his attention, like plastic bags. Yep, Magnus, it's a white plastic bag. Are you sure? I better check. Yeah, I'm watching you, plastic bag. Don't go anywhere. When we first brought Magnus home as well, he didn't tend to play, didn't have any experience with that. A little squeaky elephant, and he would occasionally squeak, but most of the time he would completely ignore toys, even though we bought lots and lots for him. I'm happy to say now 2 years in that Magnus plays with pretty much every toy he's got. You'll find him playing with his treat balls, his squeaky sticks, his rope toys, his snake toys, you name it. Magnus is happy to play with these toys, and it's very fun to see. Here he's attacking his toy squirrel. Well, I'm happy to say that the squirrel survived this ordeal and is still completely intact. Magnus also really likes squeaky balls and does a really good job playing fetch with his squeaky balls.
Give it to me.
Well, one thing that hasn't changed for Magnus is that he loves to dash around the garden. He's happy to tear that grass up whenever he can. Especially if there's a ball involved. You want to get the ball, Magnus? Magnus is looking pretty relaxed right now. That'll change in just a few minutes. I'm about to put my coat on here, and Magnus will probably spring to life. Sit for me. You gotta sit, so get the collar on. Go sit. Good boy. Wait, sit. Ready. So on Sundays, Magnus gets very excited because he knows that's the day he's going to go to the kennels for the Sunday walk at the Greyhound Trust in Edinburgh, where they have a walk where you can go along and walk with other dogs through the woods and the countryside. When we first arrive, Magnus gets super excited to get out of the car and actually starts to whimper, telling us to hurry up, I want to get out of the car. So as soon as we get out of the car, Magnus will start dashing over to the meeting point as quickly as he can, ready for his smells and for all of his rubs and cuddles. Ready to smell some dogs, Magnus? That's there. Get right in there, Magnus. Good smell, yep. Now time for some rubs. Alright, time for more dog smells, I think. some treats, Magnus? No? Alright, time for some more rubs, Magnus. Yeah, Magnus really likes getting cuddles and lots of rubs, and if you're lucky, he'll come in for the lean as well. So once the greyhound walk starts, Magnus likes to get into the pack and get on his way. He'll start off by smelling all the dogs and where they've peed and where they've done other business, or as I like to say, tweeting and retweeting, catching up on all the gossip. There's usually about somewhere between 30 to 50 dogs on this walk each week, so it's a great chance to Magnus to socialise with other greyhounds and for us to meet other greyhound owners. So Magnus likes to give the dogs a little bit of a head start because he's so fast and he wants to make the race to the end competitive even though it's a walk. Alright Magnus, you ready to go now? Nope, you want more dogs ahead of you? No? Alright, and we're off. So once we start walking, Magnus likes to be at the front as quickly as he can and will race past everyone else at full steam, even though it's a walk, to try and get to the front. And here comes Harpo to welcome us back for getting home first. Hey Harpo, nice to see you. So after the walk, Magnus will have a little sit down on one of the beds with some of his chums, get a little breather, and then it's back out in the crowd to smell some more dogs. Was that fun, Magnus? Yeah. So once we've finished smelling dogs, it's time to head home. We'll say goodbye to some of the dogs who are boarding for the weekend. And then before we go, it's a good little chance to give Magnus a little run on one of the enclosures where he can burn up any last little bit of energy he has. Careful at home, Magnus. Told you to watch out for that hole, Magnus. Was that fun? Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this little video, just a little catch up. I'll make some more videos as soon as I can, but if you've got anything you want me to make a video of, just let me know in the comments and I'll try my best to make one for you. So once we get home, Magnus is basically off with the clothes, off with the collar, pull, I guess pull, and then it's off to his bed for a couple of hours to have a little nap. So thanks for watching and we'll see you again shortly.